What's good, gang? Hey, it's your boy Sir Chris the second, man. And we might be having us a crazy video right now. It says teen laughs after battering pedophile to death. Now, now, I'm all for putting a pause on a pedophile, you know? I'm all for it, meat type of shit. I'm all for it. Laughing though? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, even if I took, you know, even though I get on the game, load GTA, go into a session, roll up on a NPC and shoot that NPC, I can't laugh about like taking that NPC life. Like I understand that NPC was a pedophile and they deserve to get to put the paws on them, but I don't think I can laugh, bro. I feel like now that's making me sick as well. But I don't know, bro. We just finna go ahead and get into the video. Like I'm yapping now. I'm yapping now.
It's the morning of August 20th, 2024, and at HMP Fossway, the world's most high-tech prison, located in Leicester, England, inmate 21-year-old Thierry Robinson has just exited his cell after being let out for the day. He's captured here on CCTV with a huge grin on his face, heading over to his neighbour, 18-year-old Ashiri Smith. After waiting for him momentarily, the pair walk down the block and head over to the other side to a cell belonging to convicted paedophile Mahir Mohammed. When they re-emerge, there's no sign of Mahir. Now, one might take a look at this and think there's nothing wrong. However, ladies and gentlemen, something serious just went down in Mahir's cell. And if you hadn't guessed it by now, Thierry Robinson and Ashiri Smith had just murdered a paedophile.
Golly, when?
If you're wondering why HMP Fossway looks more like a hotel than a prison, well, that's because it's classified as Cat C. Prisons in the United Kingdom are ranked in categories, A being the most secure, home to some of the country's most dangerous people, all the way through to Category D, which is essentially a big home that prisoners have to live in, instead of going to their actual residence. In a Cat D prison, some of the inmates are allowed to leave to go to work or study, and then return. If they prove that they can do that over a period, they're even allowed to spend multiple days out of the prison and stay overnight at an approved address, say with a girlfriend for example. HMP Fossway isn't quite that. Again, it's a Cat C resettlement prison. In other words, it's a highly secured facility that's designed to prepare inmates for reintegration in.
So basically you tell me there's better ways to get things done and hold on, gang. I ain't even gonna lie, this might be a little bit too much talking for me. The murder don't come in until, alright, let's lock in.
Into society. One of the sex offenders who was mixed in with the inmates was 31-year-old Mahir Mohammed. His image bizarrely hasn't been published, and there's only a small section in the news as to why he even ended up in HMP Fossway to begin with. Mr. Mohammed had been jailed for an online conversation with a girl whom he thought was in her early teens. The girl was a decoy set up to snare paedophiles. The vigilante group behind the snare reported him to the police, and he ended up being jailed at HMP Fossway.
Bro, is this somebody like, bro, okay, it's not their fault at all. But like, what if these are some people like that Gideon catch? You know? Like, I'm not a judge. I'm not God. I'm not whatever you believe in. So I can't say that. I can't just willingly just like, say somebody deserves to, out of there. But if it was, do you think Gideon would feel some way? Like it's his fault or anything? Or should he feel some way? Like it's his fault? That's basically what I'm saying.
For that conviction, he was handed a 35-week prison sentence and was due to be released on August 21st, 2024. So yeah, Mahir had been caught by an online sting group and had landed himself in jail. We don't know what his time was like in the jail for the most part, but according to a report, his life had been made a literal living hell in the few weeks leading up to his release. This would have been around the time he crossed paths with his killers, Ashiri and Thierry. Those two, by the way, are infamous in their own right. Yes, this story takes a whole other turn when we come to find out that one of them is a relatively famous and successful UK drill rapper, and the other made national headlines for being extremely brazen with a firearm. Thierry, known by his alias Trills, has been making music for some years. His videos have racked
Bro,
up
so why are you
millions of
making music and
views.
doing
However,
this?
he wasn't
Hold on,
just a
bro.
rapper, he was also a drug dealer, and that's how he ended up in HMP Fossway for 5.5 years. It was the circumstances surrounding Ashiri's arrest back in late 2023 that made news outlets from across the country pick up on his story. He had videoed himself dancing with a loaded gun. For that, he was jailed for 3.5 years in April of 2024. HMP Fossway was where he was going to call home while serving his sentence.
Posting all that guns got you locked up, bruh. We don't need to see all this, bro. Scared for his life.
Appears to be a Walther self-loading pistol made in Germany. Appears to be a 9mm with a 19 round capacity.
Once Mahir had crossed paths with the pair, they subjected him to weeks of verbal taunts and physical attacks due to the nature of his offending. On August 19th, 2024, just 2 days before he was
That's
due
his
to be
room, right? It
released,
looked like it just
Ashiri had
opened.
visited Mahir's cell on 12 different occasions. While there, he verbally insulted him and physically assaulted him. Towards the end of the day, Mahir threw a kettle filled with boiling water through the gap of his cell door, which hit both Ashiri and Thierry. It was a revenge attack. This had been the first time he retaliated. Given the fact he was due to be released on the 21st, he probably thought he'd have been alright for a day. However, according to a report, as the hours went on, he asked to be moved to a different part of the prison.
And that's when he messed up. Why you retaliated?
That move wasn't granted, and well, you know what went down the following morning. At around 7:45 AM on August 20th, 2024, Mahir Mohammed had been found unresponsive in his cell by a female prison officer. He had been repeatedly punched, kicked, and stamped over the course of around 37 seconds. Thierry and Ashiri couldn't appear weak after the kettle attack. It marked Mahir for death. His prediction was correct. He would officially be pronounced dead by paramedics around an hour after the attack. His eventual cause of death was a bleed to the brain. The investigation was swift, the pair were banged to rights, and eventually they were charged with murder. They surprisingly denied the charges that were placed against them and went on trial in the spring of 2025. In the end, Ashiri was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 17.5 years, whilst Thierry Robinson was found not guilty of murder but was found guilty of manslaughter and received an 11-year prison sentence. So, some of you may be sitting there.
So you threw your whole life away, bro. Like, see, this is what I'm saying, bro. This is why I don't get it. Like, yes, you took him out because of the charge that he did, but now you just took your bro.
Asking yourself, how did a convicted paedophile end up on the same wing as normal inmates? And well, simply put, HMP Fossway, like many other prisons in the United Kingdom, are throwing all inmates in together because we have a prison overcrowding crisis. No, like, literally, within 19 months of HMP Fossway being built, it was 98% full. Both the Conservative and Labour governments have tried to get a grip of the situation, but nothing's really worked. Yes, more prisons are being built, but that takes years, and with a prison population on the rise, it means they
need it now, bro.
They've got other measures.
That's crazy work. I ain't even gonna lie.
Like releasing some inmates early. That includes violent sex offenders, by the way. But to no surprise, some people just can't be fixed, and they end up back in jail a short while later. We've all seen the headlines recently. This further adds to the problem.
After they kill somebody, and that's the problem, bro. That's the problem.
Regarding sex offenders, Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood announced that the government plans to introduce chemical castration in 20 prisons across England and Wales to help potentially alleviate this problem. According to
I ain't
reports,
gonna lie,
inmates
bro.
within these 20 prisons will be asked first to volunteer.
This video making me
It'll be a
hot.
pathway to release. If all goes well and successful, they then plan to roll it out as a mandatory sentence to again help reduce the prison population. So, how does the British government take control of this situation then? If you have any suggestions, I'd like to know what you guys think.
Alright, bro. I thought it was gonna be more so about the situation. Mahir is now statistically unlikely to reoffend. That is true. So this pedophile was in a facility that was going to get him ready to be released back into the public, and another inmate stopped him. Seems like justice was served. You see what I'm saying, bro? Y'all put this inmate who is touching, or not even touching, but attempting to touch because he was texting. They haven't got that far. Little people, and you want, like, see that, and now this man threw his music career away, his life away. Bro, don't take it into your own hands, bro, because the criminal justice system is not in your favor. I understand doing it, but it's not gonna bring them back. It's not gonna bring them back. Look, bro, you didn't hear this from me. If you gonna do it, at least get away. That's all I'm gonna say. If you gonna do it, get away. That's all I can say. That's all I can and will say. I ain't gonna lie. But alright, gang. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. But y'all do me a favor, because y'all been here this whole time. Drop a comment and like down below. And subscribe and click the bell for me, bro. Do that for the gang. You been rocking with me. So subscribe, bro. Catch the next video. You know, like 96 to like 93 to 96 for y'all is not subscribed. But y'all keep coming back. Like, bro, I'm finna get hot. Alright. Alright, bro. I'm gonna catch y'all next time, bro. Y'all be easy. Peace.